If you love paying hundreds of dollars for designer colognes, then this video is not for you. It's for the rest of us who want to smell like designer colognes without the high price tag. Folks, there are colognes out there that are so close to the real thing that most people can't even tell the difference. But how do you know which ones to try? Stay tuned. Welcome to the Dad Bod. Most of what people focus on when going out is what can be seen visually. We try to make a good first impression with our clothing, our accessories, our hair, how we talk, what we say. But the first impression actually starts before anyone can even see us. It's happened to us all at one point. We've all stood next to somebody who's had a foul odor. It's not a pleasant experience. And like most people, you've probably made judgments and opinions about that person before you even saw who they were. Scent is usually the first way that people judge other people. If you have a displeasing scent, then it doesn't matter if you're wearing the best suit on the planet. You've already lost. The girl, the job interview, the social interaction is damaged before it even begins. But wearing the right cologne can have the opposite effect. It can impress people and even get them looking to meet you before they even see you. Wearing the right cologne is a good way to start off with a great first impression. One of my favorite colognes is Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. It's an amazing cool weather and evening cologne. It's also a few $100s per bottle. I don't know about you, but I don't really want to spend hundreds of dollars on cologne when I know I can get the same exact thing for a fraction of the cost. I've spent the last 2 months trying out different colognes that are clones of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille and ones that are inspired by Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. My goal was to find the ones that came the closest at a fraction of the cost. I guess you could say it was the Clone Wars. For this one, I tried the original by Tom Ford. I got a sample bottle from Micro Perfumes. Can't really compare the others unless you have the original. And the ones that I compared were, cue the music. Because the scent was the important part, I didn't put a whole lot of emphasis on the bottle. I don't really care what the bottle looks like as long as the scent is right. I've worn each one at least 5 times to make sure that I got as accurate information and as much information as I could. For the ingredients, I'm going to save time by throwing up this little chart here showing you the information that the manufacturers provided. You can see that some tried to replicate the original formula while others used different ingredients to try to replicate the scent. I've seen several times with various colognes where some versions can use several different ingredients and still get the same scent. So I didn't use the ingredients as a determining factor, but I still did want to mention them. For the longevity, we're going to compare how long each one of them lasts to the original, and the original dry down is about an hour, and then the scent lasts about 8 hours. Cremo's dry down was about 30 minutes and the scent was gone after about 4 hours. Perfume Studio's dry down is about a half an hour and then the scent is gone after about 4 to 5 hours. Just Jack's dry down is about an hour and then the scent is gone after about 5 to 6 hours. Dossier's dry down was about an hour and then the scent lasted about 6 hours. All 32's dry down was about an hour and then the scent lasted about 6 to 7 hours. Villain's dry down was about an hour and the scent lasted about 7 to 8 hours. And then we have Nitro Musk. The dry down was about an hour and the scent still remained after about 12 hours. I could actually still smell it the next day. So here's what I found out about each of them. Also, I'm going to provide links to each of them in the video description in case you want to try them out for yourself. Cremo wasn't even close upon the initial spray. After the dry down, I got much closer to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, but I would say it started off at about 30% accurate and then rose to about 80-85%. That's not too bad as long as you avoid people for the first 30 minutes or so. Perfume Studio by Amazon has a ball roller. It's supposed to help you use less. It was a bit dull at the initial application. After the dry down, it got a little better, but I would say it's still too far off to be considered any further. Tobacco Vanille has a bright and sweet smell, and this wasn't able to come anywhere close to replicating that. I know I said I wouldn't put much thought into the bottle or the sprayer, but I did just want to say that Just Jack's sprayer sucks. It's kind of like a cheap $1 water gun. Similar to Perfume Studio, it started off pretty far from the actual Tom Ford, and then after the dry down, it was still nowhere close. Just to note, I scoured the internet to find clones that people said smelled close enough to pass as the original. I didn't just randomly pick these. So be careful when you're reading articles online. I'm doubting many of these pages actually tried the original to compare them. I mean, I even tried this solid cologne because it was recommended on a few pages, and it doesn't even come anywhere close, which is why you don't really see me talking much about it here. Wasn't me. So these final four are actually close enough to be considered contenders, and they're all $50 or less as opposed to spending hundreds of dollars for the original Tobacco Vanille. Villain isn't inspired by cologne. It's the newest release from Pete and Pedro. They didn't try to exactly clone Tobacco Vanille. They tried to get as close as they can and then found ways that they felt that they could improve on it. It doesn't start off as sweet as Tobacco Vanille does, but as it dries down, it gets to where it needs to be. I really like this one. It's definitely something that I'm going to be keeping. Nitro Musk also uses the ball roller, and I would say that this is really close to the original. I absolutely love this one. It's been one of my go-to clones for a while now. For this one, I only say that it isn't as close to the original as the rest of the final four because the scent lasts longer, it travels farther, and it's actually a bit brighter and sweeter than the original. The majority of the people who helped me compare these to the other ones actually said that they prefer this one to the original Tobacco Vanille. And for 20 bucks, you can't go wrong. Then we have Alt 32 and Dossier. They both lasted about 6 to 7 hours, where the original lasted more like 8, but that's pretty close. They were both pretty much spot on when it comes in terms of scent. The initial spray, the dry down, I mean, they were so close to the original Tobacco Vanille that nearly everybody I asked to smell couldn't tell that there was a difference. Alt 32 lasted pretty well, but I did notice that the scent wasn't as strong after about 2 to 3 hours. And because of that, I would say that Dossier is the better out of these two. So, Villain by Pete and Pedro, Alt 32 by Alt Fragrances, and Nitro Musk's $2.98. These three are right where they need to be to get you smelling like $1 million affordably. You should absolutely check them out if you like Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. However, that is a colder weather fragrance. And if you're looking for something to wear in the warmer months, I would absolutely recommend Adventus by Creed. But you don't have to spend $400 a bottle on this either. Check out this video right here to see how you can get it for less than $50, and I'll see you there.